Hi, so I just wanted to talk about the Kumbh Mela experience that we had. This is Oorja, I'm Ritu, I'm the founder of East India Travel, and we both had the opportunity to visit the Maha Kumbh this year. Of course, I had visited the Kumbh Mela in 2019 and I had had some incredible experiences. I was able to meet a lot of Aghori sadhus and some very unique babas. And had done a lot of photography as well. I wanted to go back and kind of have the same experience, but that was not the case because this Maha Kumbh was massive and there were just way too many people there. But I'd like to hear from you, Oorja. What did you think of it? Because this was your first time at the Kumbh Mela.
It was pretty incredible to see so many people. I was also there with a friend who is a black woman from Africa, and so it was very interesting to see how people perceived her as well in that space. We did the dip and the dip was very nice. The water is surprisingly clean. It was very crowded, but surprisingly, again, it felt very safe because even though there were a lot of people, a lot of men around, it still felt extremely safe to walk around, and I didn't feel like I was stared at. I didn't feel like I was being touched in any way, because that's some of the biggest things that occur on the streets, in general. Especially with my friend who is a black woman, she also felt like pretty safe in that space, which was really good.
Yeah, and I think all of us had this as one of the major takeaways from this experience, because we were a group of 8 people with only one man and the 7 of us were women, and so being a large group, we obviously were moving together, and as she mentioned, it was superbly crowded, but we didn't feel any degree of whatever, like you said, what we'd probably feel on the street somewhere. It was incredibly safe, and the dip was wonderful. As she said, the confluence of the river where we had taken the dip was very, very clean, and the biggest proof of that is that none of us felt sick after we came back.
Yeah.
I mean, not even like a skin condition or a rash or anything of the sort. I think for some of us it was more about just the experience of going to one of the largest gathering of humankind on the earth, but for some of us it was also a spiritual experience. So what did you think about that aspect, Oorja? Like, did you think that people are there because it is so humongous and people just want to be part of it, or was it also a very spiritual experience for a lot of the people?
I think a part of it has to do with the fact that it is like the Maha Kumbh, and I came because you said that it only happens once in every 144 years. So I was like, I have to, last time I can experience this, I think. But I also think, like, for me, I'm not usually a religious person. I don't really follow any religious tenets. So for me, it was honestly a spiritual experience for sure. I think dipping in and just the prospect of your sins being washed away and things falling into place afterwards was very good, because I often go through my life as something that is not very planned and like it just kind of flows, and there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with that. So after the dip, I really felt like, okay, whatever happens, it'll happen for a reason, and just to take kind of universe, God, whoever is kind of driving this car, he will take us where I'm meant to be. And so since then, actually, because I've had like a few experiences with like just applications and like hearing back from like certain colleges and stuff, and it's not been positive, but it hasn't hurt me as much as it would have before, I think, the dip, because after the dip I started feeling like, okay, there's a grander plan. So even if I don't get into a college that I wanted to get into, that's maybe somewhere I'm not supposed to be. That was one of the biggest changes.
That's great. That's intense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Maggi you ate.
Oh my God. I missed that. This like teenage girl, I think of like 13-14 years old, and her mom had a stall near our tent, and she made Maggi, and her mom was shouting at her the whole time, and her grandmom was shouting at her from the other side the whole time for different things.
But she made the best Maggi.
It was so good. It was like 20 rupees, and it was, I still have dreams about it. It was so good.
What was really different about that Maggi?
I think she put 4 packets of the masala instead of just the 2, and then she put cheese on top and paneer on top.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and with vegetables anyways, so yeah, it was good.
Great.
And I think she started frying it with like jeera, like she started the whole thing with the tadka, which was like great. I was like, that's how it should be made. Yeah.
So we were like staying at the tents in Arel Ghat, which is very close to the Sangam. So we were very lucky to not get caught in a lot of traffic and a lot of crowds, and we were able to get a boat. It was not very easy, but we managed. And I think overall the experience of the Kumbh was also very spiritual, as Oorja said, for all of us. Even the non-believers, even the ones who had gone there with a certain bit of doubts or questions. we were able to experience the best. So maybe not in the next 144 years, but the next small Kumbh Mela is going to happen, I think, after the next 4 or 5 years. Please be a part of it. Make it a point to do that. Thanks.
Thank you.